G'day guys, this is Drew and I'm joined by Rob for the Randwick review show.
Yep.
Sydney review.
Yep. It's been a while, Drew. I think Turnbull Day was last time we did something like this, so
Yeah.
excited.
Very excited. So good day overall. The yard won quite substantially for the day, so
Yep.
very happy overall.
Yep. Yard one. As you know, I had a few computer difficulties early, so I didn't maybe take as full a toll as I should have.
Look, I think when you blue screen while you're in the yard, you pull out the pen and paper and you just make it work. So
Yeah.
I think we deal with that the best way we can.
We
right?
can. We just look. As they're going to say, the yard's the easy part for me. I thought this Surface Pro was going to cure cancer, but it's been a bit disappointing.
Fair enough. I've got the Surface Book and it had some troubles with in play as well. So yeah, you live and learn.
Oh, you do. You just try and not make mistakes like this and cost you money, but we're all got busy lives.
Yes, so what I think we'll do today is go through what happened at Randwick on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We'll then just give them a bit of a brief about who you are and what you do.
Yep.
And then answer some Twitter questions.
Cool, man.
So let's get straight into it. So before we go into race one, I think what we found out during the day very much was a on pace led by probably the inside 3 metre bias for the day. Was there a lane that was better inside the 3 metres? I'm not sure of that. I would have to do a hell of a lot more analysis to go deeper into it, but you definitely wanted to be on a horse that was
Low draws helped.
Yeah. You want to be on the rail or just a little bit off, and
Which
anything
is
outside
not
of that
a
was
typical
poison.
Randwick track
No.
at all.
And going into the day, you don't really expect that, but how good is it to not bet in race one?
Yeah.
Because that is exactly what happened.
Yeah. We let it go. I was kind of keen. I thought Cisco Bay was a pretty good each way bet in the race. Not that I sent it out on top. I think I had it second in the numbers.
Yep.
Panzer Force.
Panzer Force was on top.
Do you want to talk about how the race was won? Let's not spend too long on this.
Just very lightly. You had 14-1, 2 and 4 from the yard, 1600 metre highway, so you're never going to be overly confident in a highway. Orlando, interestingly, has just fallen in a hole. I thought it had every chance on speed. And you've had the two with the best draws on, second in line behind the leader and third in line behind the leader.
It's
coming
a great
through.
ride by Bowman.
Yeah, Buchoy was just too good on the day, held up. Same with Cisco Bay, run second. Then you got Everpex and Panzer Force who were in a bumping duel in the bad lane.
Yeah, well, Panzer Force I had on top. It's a young horse. I think it's a filly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not sure if she's a miler, but she's got some kind of quality, and she should be winning a highway. I'm not sure. Yeah, as I said, 1600's her go, but. The 1 and the 2 will probably go around in a highway and be all right. That's Cisco Bay and Evopec. But other than that, I didn't have the 7 in the numbers. Obviously not my kind of horse.
Fair enough. Let's move on to
let's
race
go.
2.
Let's go.
2400 metres, BM88, 2 from 5 from 8 from 1. Segenhose basically led this around. They haven't gone overly fast. Led from start to finish. Top 3 around the corner. Top 3 home. Sayed pulling all the way for Gibb.
No, I
Again.
can't forgive it. No, I'm sick of that horse.
Fair enough. Just Shrine held up for runs, but look, it should have been in the finish.
Yeah, look, it's maybe a stay with some future.
So you've sent out Red Alto on the each way. It's run third.
Yeah, and a little bit on. I think we had Vaucluse Bay again running a hole for me, but not letting me down. Red Alto, he improved. And it's just a bit dark about the winner getting away from me. I liked it. Fourth, equal second. Vaucluse Bay at $8 sucked me in again. Look, it's.
I think it was one of those days though when if you had known that it was going to play so significantly to on speed, you take a little bit out of the race one, but not a lot out of race one.
Yeah.
And you're now getting a picture for the day right here where you're going, okay, well, we need to be a bit more selective about what we're doing. Don't get me wrong, Red Alto had the perfect transit.
Yeah.
You're very happy with that bet all day.
Yeah, we backed it each way. It was never going to miss a hole. No. Segenho, I saw the cheap sectionals and Timmy Clark, Radiant, and should have had something on it at the 30s. It was very easy to have something on it.
Halfway through the race, it was into 8s.
Yeah.
So the in-play guys knew.
I thought Rakik looked okay. Like it's not. I've been the Betfair hated it, but I've been potting it for a while. But it was in the numbers this time.
I think it just doesn't go on a slow tempo. I think it just needs speed on. It must be that type of horse.
Yeah, it's limited for sure. Keep moving.
Yep, race 3, 1,000 metres, BM 78, 3 from 2 from 9 from 6. So I believe that's Brook Magic on top.
Yep, Brook Magic on top.
Geez, this is a hard race to swallow when you look back at the replay. Gwyneth has just been stupidly pushed out early, and to the point where like they've over pushed it. Like it's settled 2 lengths ahead of Brook Magic, and it's just forced much unnatural speed into the race. Brook Magic was huge. I've had a massive go in play at the 200. Done my balls.
You were pretty sad coming back after this.
I got 5s.
I know. It's a bit like Denawi the other week when you're thinking you should be able to lay off at even money, yet $5 is available. And it somehow got done on the line.
Manzoro got the perfect run. It may actually be better over 1,200, I'd say, this horse. I think just the way it went through the line.
Yeah, just a horse to me.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, Prince Mayted again. I found in my numbers here. He's run 3rd at a decent price. Didn't have a penny on him, but yeah, he's just a good-looking horse. It's suited to the wet. Not much else. Lights was very disappointing. Had him in my numbers. Yeah,
you had Sharp Hustler in your numbers, I believe.
Yeah, I did.
I've rewatched that run a couple of times. I just thought it got way too far back. It was in the worst ground. I actually thought it was a really good run if it goes up to 1,200 next start. I'd be considering it.
It's only beaten 3 lengths.
Yeah, it's probably got a little bit more improvement to come.
Yeah, it can definitely go around again.
So
definitely go around again.
I might have a bit of interest in it next start, and they won't back it, so...
Yeah.
I think that's it for that race.
Yeah, there's not much. You know, Brook Magic was a bit sad. Just getting nutted.
Speaking of a bit sad, we're going to the opposite side.
Oh,
Fiesta.
Yeah, and the 3-year-old fillies. Like this is a bit. I just couldn't see this missing a hole. I didn't think too much about, it being suited by the run, but it turns out it was.
Well, so for the day, that was the perfect run to have.
Yeah, you were pretty happy when I found it.
Yeah.
And you've had a good result on this race.
Yes, it was a good result pre-race, and it was a very good result in play.
Yeah. There's a few we're talking about here. I found Merrill at its first start when it ran 4th in, I think it was the Gym Crack or one of the first 2-year-old races. She impressed me that day. She impressed me again. She's a nice, she's grown a bit, and her run was against the pattern, and she's got beaten not much at all outside the leader into the wind. I think she's definitely worth following out of the race.
What do you take from, what's its name?
A Hood?
I was going to say Ready to Profit. I thought it was a really good run on speed.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it was suited for the day, but it was an outsider, and you've had it in your numbers.
Yeah, I've backed it each way actually, and I've backed the winner straight out. And it's just run 4th. It just got tired late, but can certainly run a good race again for 2. Short a couple runs. Outback Barbie looked pretty sharp to me. She's pretty close to a top. A Hood, I was happy. I didn't know it was running, and I'd take Merrill over a Hood if you weren't counting breeding or anything or what the future stud value of the horse is worth. I think Merrill has got more prize money in it than a Hood has.
Okay, I'd mention I think the one you just touched on in for 2 was a really good run. It did go up the right lane, but it was too far back to even be considered in the race, and it's flash time.
Yeah, well look, you can certainly go up to 1,1600. I guess it'll keep going around in these Princess Series races and quit itself well. But I think we've seen the best filly on Wednesday. The Chris Lee's Miss Fabulous. I think she's going to be
a great type.
Hard to beat. Samantha Miss, her mum, was really as good as a 3-year-old filly I've seen in the last 15 years.
She goes quite well, that Samantha Miss.
yeah. I love these early 3-year-old. Last year it was Alizé versus Champagne Cuddles, Formality. I really get a spring in my step having a look at these horses first up.
On to the 1,300 metres, race 5, 3-year-olds. You had 1 from 3, from 5, from 9. Master Ash has obviously, sprung the gates, got the right position. Donari's led them around at a decent clip. Military Zone's pulled for the first 200 to 300 metres of the race, so was really fired up, jumps second and sits outside leader when it's normally a back marker. I think its race was just run with 300 metres into it.
Well, look, it cost me a fortune against Denawi the other week. I think it's got nowhere to go, this preparation, in terms of improvement, and I would be taking it on, or they'll probably spell it.
Fair enough. What do you think of Smart Elysium? I thought it had every chance, but the way it's gone through the line, I thought maybe it needs a bit more distance.
Look, I thought it was well underdone. It's got a bit of a frame on it, and it certainly can improve out of the race. Master Ash was third in the numbers, $9. I don't know how he didn't have a bet on it with the units, but it's presented as good as anything here, even though I've got it third. I've got the one on top, Encryption, and like so many Godolphin horses.
Luckless.
Yeah, well, they're luckless, and they're parading brilliantly first up. James Cummings is just flying.
They're flying at the moment, that stable, and look, there are a few of their rides on the day that just found asses in the straight, but you can't be that type of person who goes, oh, that was a horrible ride, because I would much rather my horse be in that 3-wide line, trying to get the luck, than being out in the crap zone. And so, you know, you've got horses that are going down the crap zone with no chance, whereas they're at least riding it to try and get that run to win.
Yeah, like J-Mac in the last on that. Good thing.
Yeah, he tried. He just couldn't get out.
Yeah, well, he should have followed Shogun's son. Anyway, we'll get to that. Irakanji can improve. Enzo took my, again, I followed him since his first starter. I've never been able to catch him. Spin looked okay, but yeah, Encryption to me, the best type here. Master Ash, pretty good too. Denawi, so I'm not surprised the way they finished here. And I think Encryption ride was a bit, let's say, not that good.
Of course, but I think he's riding to instructions.
Yeah.
And the instructions very much, if you go outside this 3-wide line, you're not going to ride for us again.
Yeah, okay.
So I give him a little bit of forgiveness there.
All right, well, look, I think he's as good as any of these horses, but I'm a bit sus on most of them.
Okay.
In terms of, are these the best 3-year-olds?
Well, that was going to be my next question, is how do you rate them? So we'll see how it goes.
Well, let's say the Fillies versus the Colts. I'd probably have to put the Colts just marginally in front.
Okay. Race 6, just one of another races that are on the day, the Wink Stakes. I'll touch on the Kementari ride to start with. How you jump so well and restrain back to a position.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he was going to beat Winks. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to say it at all.
Yeah,
I'm simply saying that horse probably, if ridden correctly, should have run second.
Okay.
And I was surprised with the tactics. I was shocked that they would do those tactics and, you know, not give themselves a chance to at least contest based on how the track was playing, and they knew how it was playing.
Yeah.
You're getting 2 to 3 lengths advantage on Winks by positioning 1-1, which they probably could have taken.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in the best spot.
Yeah.
Didn't give it every chance to try and at least make it an interesting finish. Instead, Winks just blouses them over the top. And
look, she ran it. She's won against the pattern here. She's coming down the outside of the track. She has got she's got a trail into it beautifully behind. I think it was Kementari. Was it?
Kementari kind of bumped her out on the turn, which made it even more of an impressive win, to be honest.
But yeah, she's the best since Far Lap.
Oh, I can't make that comparison because I can't say I've seen Far Lap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just like to say shit sometimes.
Yeah. No, I think you'll find quite a few people agreeing with you.
Yeah. You can't rate horse against different eras, but she's
you can say she's the best I've ever seen, and that goes for something.
Yeah, it's best I've ever seen. I said that on Turnbull Day and how we're getting $1.30. But anyway, it was 1,400, and the wind was meant to be against her down the outside. So I can see how she was $1.30, but she made that look like value.
Invictus Prince has run a blinder for second.
Yeah,
I think that kind of tells us a lot about the bias on the day.
Yeah, it was just trucking up behind him beautifully where you wanted to be, and he's exploded late.
Your horse, Kabiza de Vaca?
She was one of my famous all-ins, Cox Plate Day. $18. She was first up that day. And
got the chockies.
Yeah, she just pissed in. I thought her run was enormous. She presented very similar to that day. And she's run it. Is she a weight for age horse?
Well, she's hit the front with 200 metres ago in a Winks race and only been beaten by Kementari and D'Argento by 0.4 lengths.
Yeah, so she might be a weight for age horse. She could be the Epsom. She could be the Epsom horse. There's probably a few a few of these could be Epsom horses.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can improve the horse any further. That's, I guess, the next step for it, right?
Yeah, certainly not a complete top, but another beautifully presented Gary Waterhouse, Adrian Bott runner.
Yeah, I just mentioned Unforgotten. I thought it was an okay run. I don't think they actually pushed it out the final 200 metres when you look at the whip use on it. And
D'Argento, I was looking forward to seeing him, and he has thickened up nicely, and he's got an interesting stride. I think he's a really exciting horse. Obviously,
I want to see another run. I think everyone's getting very, very hyped about this horse.
Okay, well, he's a bit of hype. He reminds me a bit of a young Saintly as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, he's a good horse. I just think to be saying that he'll go extremely well in a Cox Plate.
He's a long striding thing.
Yeah.
You know, Saintly wasn't suited by when he won that. He got up, he beat Falante in the last stride. You know, wobbled around the corner. So he definitely, he doesn't look like a Moonee Valley, attractable Moonee Valley
That's
horse.
what I'm thinking,
but maybe they should go for that.
Well, the last day of the carnival at Flemington,
Yeah. Look, I think it's thickened up. You know, when I saw it as a 3-year-old, I just thought, you know, young Buddy Franklin at 18, you know, just so much of a frame to build into. Libran, we've got a question about Libran from somebody.
Yeah, let me just grab the name for you. It is
sorry to be
Dave from Twitter.
Yeah, Dave.
He's asked you thoughts on Libran from the yard compared to previous prep. How much improvement has come on?
Look, it's an interesting style of horse from England. It was quite a tall horse. Wiry, you know, similar comments about D'Argento. It's just grown into itself over the last 3 or 4 years, and I think it's getting better. And I think it's in for a great prep. Is it a wetty? It might be a wetty. So if it got a wet track and it got into one of those big, you know, even a Caulfield Cup, it could. Did it run 4th in a Melbourne Cup?
I'm not sure where it ran 4th, but it's you know, presented itself quite well at the top stage level.
Yeah. Look, I think it's as good as Sydney Star. You know, next one, I think we laughed at Who Shot the Bum, and on Turnbull Day, how good a stayer, you know, he is. And
that just brings back bad memories, being on Zakata at hundreds.
Anyway, the barman, he'd always take my eye, even as a 8, 9, 10-year-old in these 1400 weight for age races. Just a quality horse. And Libran's just getting better and better. I think he's in for a very good prep. Can we talk about any more of these? Should we? Ace High.
Yeah, what do we do with Ace High? I thought it was getting for a decent prep, but it's just not showing a lot.
Yeah. Is it a stallion? You never know. It might not like this windy day because it was like a cyclone just before this race.
Yeah, all the dust was just flying around,
Yeah,
and my hat. My Godolphin hat's almost flown off.
Yeah, I just caught my Betfair hat as it was about to take flight. Religify is a nice looking horse, but obviously it needs to go back and grade. Classic Uniform, a couple of runs away. Oriental Runner, that was not a bad run. It missed the start and then it pushed through into the wind. You know, back. Could bob up somewhere.
Yeah, back in grade,
class, could bob up. Not a bad style of horse at all.
Cool. Let's move on to race 7, 1200 metres, Group 3. Sent out 3 from 7 from 1 from 6. Siege of Quebec did not have the early legs to go with them.
Yeah.
They've run this in like 108.6 or something ridiculous like that. So it was a significant time. Siege of Quebec, I thought 3 wide the trip, hot tempo, massive run.
Did we send it out on top? 5? No,
we're Boss Lane on top from...
Nah, Boss Lane couldn't have been on top, could it?
Yeah, because it was the bet for the race.
Okay.
Because we were at 1 to win, 3 to play.
Yeah.
And it has run a great third at odds.
I know, and but we did send out as a mover, Siege of Quebec.
Yeah.
He did look the best. And no, it was more than Lara Main. I've seen him look better. You know, first up, and he's just got the total dream run here.
It was very much a dream run, wasn't it?
And old Bossy Lane, I've been backing him for years. He's just run another hole for me. Good boy.
Great ride. Just did everything they needed to do to take third.
Yeah.
You know?
Andrew Atkins finally done me a favour. But yeah, look, there's a bit of a tail to this race. Condor Heroes can certainly improve. Like, it was like sweating up quite badly. Takedown still like a couple of runs off top. No doubt got in the numbers, but he was a bit soft. Super Tycoon, I don't know, it's off 3 years or something.
Look, I'd say Takedown was in a really bad spot throughout the race, and it's gone down the crapshoot, and it's finished off quite well. I think give it.
We'll get $10-20 about it next start.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, look, it can certainly improve from there.
It's a group horse, and
it was not. Yeah, he certainly was, and I found him early in his 3-year-old spring, and did nothing for me. And then he came out as 4-year-old and really won a lot of races.
I think it's an inconsistent horse, and if you can get $10 plus for it for the next 5 runs, I think you just
it's going to trim down.
It's take the each ways.
Yeah, Boss Lane couldn't get any better. CG Quebec is a bull, I think. He's a stallion, and he presented really well. Again, maybe a Epsom horse.
Le Romain supposedly has run a personal best. It's its best ever run.
Well,
might be seeing it in the Everest.
Right. Well, why not? He can improve length out of the yard, and Chris Lee's got him flying at the moment.
Do you remember what I was saying to you pre-race about the horse and how much of an opinion I have of the?
Yeah, I remember you say you've got it in the top 5 horses in Australia, sort of thing.
Yeah,
and its career is consistent. You know, it's one of these weight for age horses that probably 80% place rate, 45% win rate or something.
I think if they can get it to the next level this prep, it can be just contesting. I wouldn't be suggesting it's going to win the Everest by any means, but I think 1,400 metres is just where it's...
What are like Toorak Handicap or the Vic Health Cup, whatever that used to be called?
Yeah, look, there are a couple of races around. It should be able to get a Group 1.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the other horses in the race. You need a good horse to, so it doesn't get too much weight. Oh, it doesn't get too much weight, otherwise in a handicap it might get 60.
I'm not that surprised. How much? It's carried 60 or something.
Yeah,
here,
61 here.
Yeah.
It's got 8 kilos. It's given 8 kilos to CG Quebec, who's run a very good race 3 wide on the speed into the wind.
I mean, when you're carrying 61 kilos and running 108 point whatever it was,
I know, but
you're a good horse.
I know, but it got the dream run on the day.
Of course. Couldn't get a better run than that.
What price was it on the corner?
I wasn't backing it on the corner, unfortunately. I
I
was getting my money out of CG Quebec, and that was it.
Yeah. You can't. You've got to be dexterous, but I knew it was home on the corner.
Yeah, I didn't win in play on the race. I'll put it that way. I was a bit too late. The smarter people were faster than me.
Yeah, Boss Lane was a bit of result. We can move on though, can't we?
Yes, to a good in-play race.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. So
1,300 metres, Group 3, Race 8, 2 from 5 from 1 from 3 from the yard. Tell us about this drift on Egyptian symbol.
Oh, look.
280 earlier in the week.
Luckily, I got a little bit on it, but I'm still dark that we didn't have any units on it, as we did back it in the Missile Stakes, the place, when everything went wrong for it. I've been talking a lot about Bjorn Baker's horses and how well they present, and sometimes they don't run that well.
Yeah.
But she presented just like she did the other day. I think I said best type in the text, and she got out to $9, and I don't know how that happened when she was 280 on. But they did walk in this race earlier. By the eye, I haven't done any times, but it just looked like she had it pretty easy in front.
I would simply say that when you look at a race back and you see a horse having an uncontested lead, not having the jockey either pulling it or pushing it on, the horse has been able to get into its natural rhythm. So unless they're just going absolutely stupid, which the horse wasn't.
No.
It was a great ride.
Timmy Clark.
The horse had every chance.
Timmy Clark on a leader is a beautiful thing. He's got 3 on the day, Clark.
As soon as it's jumped out and led easily, I've got a bit on in play and then got a bit more around the turn.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking. I think I had I Am a Cold play on top, and
out the back last, couldn't win from there.
It's come home all right.
Oh, it's come home very well.
1 point beaten 1.4. Lover was also in the numbers. A bit annoyed that we had half a unit on that than instead of Egyptian symbol, because Lover, she's meant to be 1600. Egyptian symbol 1240.
I thought the 1300 may have just been able to get the horse to go, but I think it was in that little crappy lane as well, that it was just too far off the good lanes.
Okay, well she's certainly very forward, and if she's going to do anything this campaign, I would say next start or the start after.
Yeah, up to 14 to 1600.
Yeah, I know, and I don't think unless Sargent can keep the weight on it, I don't. I'm a bit sus on all of these. Zestful can certainly present much better.
Yeah, couldn't get a much better run really either. Natoya is also flash term late as well, so I think that was a pretty decent run.
Yeah. But that's the tail of that horse, isn't it?
Not much more for that race. So let's move on to race 9, 1400 metres, BM89 to finish the day. We've got a nice bet home here in Chaotic.
I couldn't have seen this one any better from the yard.
Yep.
Really, really happy with this. And I just noticed Gamblestown is run 5th, beaten 2.8, which might be a bit of a blight on the race because he's probably a 16 to 1800 metre horse.
Yeah.
I haven't watched his replay, but he probably found the right lane or something. But Gamblestown, he's one of those horses that, a bit like Boss Lane for me, just can often run a hole at a big price.
Nice consistent type.
Yeah, and it's really strong, good-looking horse.
So Chaotic won it in the worst ground, got it clear running at the right times, but done it at the hard way.
Yeah.
Shogun Sun was smashed late into favourite.
Third in the numbers.
Been held up at critical stages, which I think's cost it the race, but it's had the best run. So, and it still got out. It got out, still couldn't get there.
But it's only just gotten beaten by Chaotic, who might have, I think it's runs full of merit again. I'll say it again. Maybe an Epsom horse.
Could be. There are a few Epsom horses going around.
He's one. He's a benchmark 85. So he'll maybe be a benchmark 90 after that or something. Yeah. So he's got to win another race or two to get in the race. But I'd rather him than what was that thing that won the last week? Waller. Had it second in the numbers, didn't make it.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. We'll find it after the...
It'll come to me.
What did you think of Best of Days?
Oh, Best of Days. Listen, I thought it was Alluvius all over again when I saw this horse. I knew Chaotic was in the race. I didn't know what number it was. He stood out to me, but then I saw this one, and he just looks like a quality horse. And I heard afterwards he's had some issues with his knees or something. He's got some issues, but he's
didn't show it on the. And it was, you have to say, rock hard track if they're running 108 something in the sprint race.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been exactly soft.
I love the look of that horse. Just like Alluvius, he looked almost. I think I've said class Chaotic, class Best of Days. Yeah. And I would have had a much better result on Best of Days.
Well, yeah, held up for runs at most of the straight.
It's rare I get my my phone out and put a bet on just when they're parading, but I saw $11 Best of Days at 10 minutes before the race. I was like, got to get on that. That's this to me. It looked like the way I do things. It looked like a 4-to-1 shot, as did Chaotic, and a bit of a tail to the race. I think we got a question on Milcian, which ran last. I didn't think much of it at all. I like Goodfella as well. Just left him out of the numbers. But Bjorn, maybe turning a corner, horses parading well and running well. Yeah,
Bjorn's been getting a few winners, so it's good.
So love Bjorn. Look good.
Twitter question, obviously. So you've answered the one for Milcian there, which is Daniel sent it through. He also asked about I'm a Coldplay. So you've had that pretty much on top of the other New Zealand horse.
I reckon I got a pretty good handle on picking Waller horses fresh, and you generally want them to look about 95%. Like so, they a bit like the filly and the fillies that won, just come back beautifully. How far can it go? I'm not sure. I'd probably get under my guard as it's let me down.
Okay,
but I'm expecting to run well up to about third up. Whether he can keep it going after that, I'm not sure because it was forward yesterday.
Okay.
On Saturday.
Just a few questions about yourself, just to inform the punters of who you really are, how long you've been doing this, your family background, because we know we're all sickness with a family member in the background that's introduced us to racing.
Yeah, I should get this down from the wall. There's my old man in 1974, looking a bit like me, like a Maddie at the track in the wet at Flemington. I've been going with my old man since I was a kid. Since I was a kid, I reckon I've had an opinion on the yard, it's probably about 9 or 10. I thought I started to differ from my dad's bets. Like before that, I used to just tack on 1% of whatever he was doing and cheer at home. When I hit about 10 or 11, I was like, Dad, put this one on separately for me because I think you're wrong.
Did you like that?
Well, that's this game, isn't it? We're all egomaniacs and we don't like to be told
that we're wrong.
We're wrong. I remember when I was about 12 or 13, I made him put 5 each way on Mukhtar in the Newmarket. And it was about 93 with S. Basta. I think it's his first Group 1. And that won at like 33s. And of course, my old man then backs it the next week in the Australia Stakes, and does nothing, runs fourth. But yeah, so I've been. It's been a family affair. I've really been bitten by it. Some of my siblings don't like it at all. That's true. True, because they've been dragged onto the races against their will, and charged with kitty mining duties. But yeah, since I was about 13 or 14, I just loved going to the races even more than the footy, just because you're in control of your own destiny at the races.
Makes sense, and you really are there for betting rather than the footy. You're kind of there, you've got to bet on, but you're really there to watch.
Yeah, but for me, it was always the yard analysis was 30 to 40% of the fun.
Yeah.
And then there was my old man was a very mild-mannered bloke, but in the betting ring, whereas the odds were dropping, he was like, became an absolute psychopath, just running around bumping into people and trying to get on before, the guy down the rails turned off the price. So that was always exciting.
The good old days.
Yeah, running around the betting ring, and I think so. That was in Melbourne, and then I moved to Sydney when I was about 20, and I've been going to the Sydney tracks since then. But I've got memories for years and years and years in the great Melbourne races. Flemington always been my favourite track.
Okay. Caulfield's mine.
Yeah, but Flemington is where the bigger, stronger horses are generally advantaged. Yeah. Got a long straight to show your best.
Yeah, I wouldn't be backing Elise at Mooney Valley, but I may be looking Elise's way at Flemington.
Oh, don't bring it. I already had money on it for the Myer Stakes.
Typical.
Yeah, and yeah.
You can't help bad luck. I had my Caulfield Cup horse last year die, so,
Yeah,
in the Mornington Cup. Wasn't great seeing it do it in front of your eyes, I tell you.
Yeah, well, my old man's biggest bet was naturalism when he fell over, so all got shockers.
Yikes. In terms of the yard, I think I'm probably the best to answer this one, but I like to ask you anyway. Only because I get to see what you, Pete, and Dicko all do, and I think you do stuff a little bit differently, all three of you, which is not a bad thing. I think, same with form, I approach it completely different to most other people. Do you think you can do the yard more than one way and still be successful?
Yeah. Look, if you look at my results, they go bad in wet.
Yep.
And the way I do it is pretty much I might be scan the acceptances on Wednesday night, and after that I don't want to know the odds. I don't even look at the betting market. I just look at the Racing New South Wales, who the acceptances are, and the jockeys and barriers, and that's it. I don't look at a market. I just try and forget it. So when I go into the track, I'm just looking for the best type of horse that I like to own in the race, and that's universal. That's whether I'm going to a maiden race or if I'm going to anywhere around the world. But in saying that, maidens, my old man's pretty keen that you back the fittest horse in a maiden race. But that, to me, different times of the year, maidens have different strengths.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like there's Newcastle Maiden on Newcastle Cup Day in September. You might have, like what I had Niagara bump into Mental in a maiden. Both.
Yikes.
Yeah, one's a Group 1 winner, one's a Group winner, and of course I was on Niagara. Yep. But at that time of year when the lightly raced horses in a maiden versus a 20 start maiden, there's different maidens. But yeah, fitness is certainly key on a wet track, and I'm still getting my head around it. I should really adjust. Well, my figures prove that I need to adjust on wet tracks, because as you know, I don't do any form.
Yeah. And in terms of day-to-day, so as an example of the weekend, when there's such a bias on the track, how do you really adjust for that type of thing? Is that...
I know, I don't, mate. I don't adjust, and I just wondered why I was losing for years. I just try and find the best horse in the race. And that's so great about hooking up with a mailbag. I get to now have your counsel. I say, this is what I like, and you say, well, some of these are suited more than others, which has been really good this year.
I think when you get the right speed maps and everything in place, and you've got, I guess, 3 different people giving you how they think the track's running that day, it kind of just gives you that next level, doesn't it?
It does. But Randwick will just do your head in. So it's best for me not even to think about it, because some days it's just down the outside. The rails is off, so you just got to be nimble and go in there and adjust on the day.
I mean, as a prime example for that, I've seen, you've sent it out, but I've seen Dicko and even Pete send out a horse on top, but you're actually wanting to back the second horse because you've said, I don't think the map's actually suiting this horse that's on top.
Yes.
And that's, you can do the yard and you'll send it out correctly as it's the yard, but when it gets to the betting side of it, you've got to actually take it into what's happening with the track.
You'll sometimes see me putting units on like a third or fourth pick just because it doesn't look the best, but it might be suited the best.
Exactly.
And Beza de Barker, she ran a Butler.
Yeah. So where are you racing next week? Is it back to Rose Hill, I imagine?
Yeah, I think there's a chance of rain actually, which is a bit of a worry. I think they're 1 to 10 mils, but it's a bit early to say. But could be a bit tricky. But there'll be more horses first up.
Good for it at the moment there. So if you get a little bit of rain, it shouldn't be too.
Yeah, well, they did put a fair bit on Randwick, and it turned out all right. But I think it's later in the week and maybe rain on the day.
Couple of group races, so back at it.
Yeah, man. Yep. That's it. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for today. I think everyone's hopefully enjoyed the Mail Yard Sydney, and we'll try and get something going in the future so we can have a few more updates, maybe even via podcasts.
Yep.
That's hopefully on the cards.
Yeah, I should better get my head around it. All right, mate. Thanks, Drew.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Cheers, man.
Have a good one, guys.